Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in another video day, and today the Houston Rockets are making a trade. The Houston Rockets are making a draft pick trade, a huge trade after the Mikal Bridges trade happened, where Bridges gets sent to the New York Knicks from the Brooklyn Nets, and literally seconds after that deal happens, the Houston Rockets, my favorite team, make a deal with the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn is getting their draft picks back. So the Brooklyn is reacquiring their 2026 first-round pick from the Rockets, which they got in the James Harden trade. In return, Houston is receiving the Phoenix Suns 2027 first-round pick and the right to swap Houston's or the Oklahoma City Thunder 2025 first-round pick for the Suns 2025 first-round pick. Also, the Nets are receiving they are getting back the 2025 first round pick swap that the Rockets would have been able to potentially use next year. In next year's draft, the 2025 NBA draft, the Rockets could have swapped picks with the Brooklyn Nets, so they get that back as well. And then also the Rockets get more They get more favorable 2029 first-round pick between the Dallas Mavericks and the Suns and have the right to swap their first-round pick for the less favorable of Dallas and Phoenix first. Houston is also giving up the right to swap a first-round pick with Brooklyn for their 2025 first-round pick, which I already mentioned. So that is the details for this trade. And the Rockets are making this trade in order to potentially make a push for a superstar like Kevin Durant or Devin Booker, because the Houston Rockets get the Phoenix Suns draft picks back from Brooklyn. Brooklyn got the draft picks in the Kevin Durant trade, getting Mikal Bridges and Cameron Johnson and Jay Crowder with all those draft picks for KD. And, some of those draft picks they keep, but, Houston does get a couple of these draft picks in this trade, and they could use a couple of the picks that they have got from Brooklyn that belong to Phoenix to use them in leverage this offseason or next offseason in a potential trade with the Phoenix Suns. There are two players that the Phoenix Suns have that the Rockets could be interested in. Both I don't think will be available until next offseason in a potential trade, and that is Kevin Durant. Not just Kevin Durant, but Devin Booker. I think Kevin Durant is the main guy the Rockets would potentially be looking at in a potential trade with the Suns, giving the Suns their picks back. But I think Devin Booker would definitely be an option. I think it'd be maybe a better option for the Rockets because he's the younger option for this Rockets team. You get to pair Devin Booker next to, Alperen Sengun and Fred VanVleet and some of the other young players on this team like Cam Whitmore and Amen Thompson. So, pairing Devin Booker with this young squad would be amazing, and I think you can say the same thing with Kevin Durant as well. And I've talked about potential Kevin Durant's Houston trade before, but, I didn't think there was enough, assets and picks to get Phoenix to want to do the deal. But now you have something to give Phoenix potentially something they want, and that's their draft picks back. Look, Brooklyn really wanted their draft picks back from the Rockets. It's something that they really needed and wanted back, and that's what they got in this trade. That's a big reason why they did this trade with the Rockets. And if things start to fall apart with the Phoenix Suns, like things did with the Brooklyn Nets, look, the Brooklyn Nets, when they got their big three with KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, which none of those three guys are on their team anymore, and gave all their draft picks to the Rockets, obviously you always knew there could be a fall apart in that organization, but they didn't. I don't think they knew they need or want their draft picks as bad as they did leading up to this trade with the Rockets today. And I really think that another big three situation with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and the Suns could find themselves in a situation where they're really potentially at the end of the line with this big three, and Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal even potentially are on their way out of the organization. And if that happens, you're at a point where you're at a time where you're potentially wanting your draft picks back, and If you're potentially, going to try to find a trade partner for Kevin Durant or Devin Booker, I think Houston is probably one of the first teams the Phoenix Suns organization would look at. Not only do they have such a good young core, and they can get young assets back for a Kevin Durant or a Devin Booker, but also they have something very valuable to this Phoenix Suns team, and that's their draft picks, to get their draft picks back and have the ability to potentially, have a couple bad seasons. Because there's no point of having bad seasons when you don't own your draft picks. Obviously, sometimes you can't help it, but there's no need to tank or no need to, not try to do your best to win basketball games, even if you don't have your best team out there. If you don't have your draft pick, there's no point. There's no point of being unless you just don't have a good team. There's no point of being one of the worst teams in basketball if you don't have your draft pick. And that's something if they get the draft picks back, Houston is the team that could give that to them. So we'll see what the Rockets end up doing, but I like this trade for my Rockets. And let me know your thought in the comment section, Rockets fans. Peace out. Go Rockets.